All right, let's take a look at putting in some of the midtones, shall we? So one way that we can handle this is to start by selecting the highlights, just by control clicking on the highlight mask. And I'm just going to make a new layer. And I'm going to invert the selection, Control Shift I. So now I have everything that's not the highlights. So that's a great place to start. Let's go ahead and punch in a layer mask. And we'll see if I alt click, the layer mask is just masking out the highlights. So this is a good start here. But I'm actually going to stash this and subtract it out with calculations in a minute. So I'm going to come over to the channels, make a new layer mask, everything but the highlights. Did I get that backwards? Do I need to invert it? Hold on, we'll find out. Come back in. So I'm going to actually get rid of the mask for just a minute since I've got it stored. Delete that. I'm going to go up to select and I'm going to do a color range. And looks like I'm just sampling right now to see what's in here. Sounds good. Grab my plus eyedropper. Start getting my midtones. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Higher fuzziness, higher fuzziness. Okay. Make a mask. Alt click, here's the mask so far. I'm going to come in and just grab a black brush set to 100% hardness and 100% opacity. And just going to make this really big. Come in and get rid of all those. Okay, so you can see, again, a lot of masking. A little later in the semester, we're going to go over how to use the pen tool and make a lot of this a lot easier. We haven't covered that yet, so I'm not going to go into detail on how to do it just yet. That'll be a tool for another day. Here we go. All right. Let's come in with the magic wand tool. And just get rid of all that real quick. Okay. All right, that looks pretty good. And just a quick test to make sure that I didn't mess that up, I'm just going to grab a color, I don't know, maybe just this red. Ah, look at that. So I'm just going to fill in everything for just a second. I'm going to put this below the highlight. Okay. Actually, it looks like we got it. I'm not going to need to subtract out the mask. If you want to see how that's done, I cover that in the first assignment, the postcard assignment, how to use calculations to mask out pieces. There we go. All right. One other spot right in here. Beautiful. Remember, we'll have to attack the shadows at some point as well. Okay. I just alt-clicked to turn that off. Okay, so we have this section. Let's go ahead and, clear out everything in there. Yeah, accidentally filled it with white. Control A and delete to clear that out. All right, we've got something to work with. Let's go ahead and stick with our green motif. Just gonna pop into some green. Now for the midtones, color works pretty well. Sometimes overlay or multiply will work as well. I'm just gonna grab the brush and load this in real fast so that I can get an idea of what this will look like. Again, 100% is not the way to go on this. You'll want to build your way up slowly. All right, so we've got color, soft light, probably something darker. Multiply, color burn is way too hard. Soft light might work. I'm leaning towards just flat color. Color versus soft light. Color, soft light. I'll do color. We'll do color. All right, and we'll call this. Well, what did we name the first one? Name it the same thing. Mid-tones instead of highlights. Tones. Now's a good time to save. All right, let's come in and do some adjustments. Remember, solid flat color is not the way to go on this. It's just not going to look very good. I'm going to pop in. I'm going to switch it over to the A mode. And I don't need a hard brush right now. I'm going to do a very soft brush. And I'm going to do it at lower than 100% opacity. Okay. I've changed my mind about color. It's not letting me get as dark as I really need to get. I'm going to do multiply. And I'm just going to lighten all of this up. I'm going to do that by coming in real quick with an eraser. If it will let me, for some reason it's jammed. There we go, eraser. And I'm just going to set the opacity to 21%. Do a quick pass. And I think another pass. And one more pass. Okay. Multiply may not be the one that I end up sticking with, but we'll see how it goes. All right. So how do I know that I'm going to see the same colors that you're seeing? Well, one thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you're working in the right color space, and I should be if I've set this up correctly. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm currently in the sRGB. I should actually embed that. There we go, the sRGB, so that it will show up the same on one monitor to another as long as those monitors are calibrated. So you see all these gray areas. I'm going to have to come back in and get those in a bit. Knock this down to 5%. And zoom in. I want lighter colors. See where this is going? It's just time on task. Takes a very long time. But in the end, it will be worth it. Lighter color still. Let's do 33%. Let's add in something other than green. Let's do a little yellow. Less than 33%. Let's do 4%. I'm just hitting 0.4 to get that. And you can see where this is going. This is essentially it. Break it down with some masks, pick some colors, build it up very slowly. So what else is green made out of? Well, blue. Let's add in some blue. And again, those white spots are going to be a big issue, so I'm going to come in on those in just a minute. I do not seem to have blue. I have yellow. So let's go ahead and kick in some blue. Let me get those dark areas. Okay, yeah, those grays are going to be a problem. Let's pop in. Pop over to my white brush and set it to high opacity and overlay. That will let me clean up that mask pretty quickly. There we go. All right, pop back over. Yeah, that's much better. Okay. I want a more vibrant blue. And I don't want to work in overlay mode. I want to be in normal mode. That's too much. I left the percentage too high. So I'll just kick that down to like 7%. Okay. Oh, that's better. Look at that. Okay, again, all of those highlights are still going to be a problem. Alt click. Going to come in with the white brush. Kick this up to 100%. I am going to use the subtraction technique because this is just problematic. I need to get way up in there. Although sometimes it's not necessary because of the way that the blending modes will interact. The highlights will still be okay. Whoa. The highlights will still be okay if they have something in another mode below them. Go ahead and use your eyes to check and see. Whoa, I keep missing. Smaller strokes so I can undo them. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so I do have to subtract out the highlights. Not a problem. Control click on the layer above. I'm not even going to have to use calculations in this case. Control delete a couple of times to fill it with black. And there we go. I've got my highlights back in. You can see that maybe a couple of areas I don't want that to be the case, but we'll work on that as we get to it. I'm going to knock this down to 10%. So midtones will have some highlights and some shadows because, well, it's in between. Going to alt click to pick a new color. And I'm going to start blending these together. And alt click again, and alt click again, and alt click again. You can see that this is starting to come along. These highlights are definitely too harsh. I'm going to have to come back in and do some further adjustments to those to get them where I need them. We'll deal with that in a bit. Alt click. Let's crank this up to maybe 30%. Oh, that's too much. 12%. Again, I'm just typing 12 very quickly on the keyboard. Oh, I lost something I wanted there. All right. See how it's not just one color, it's many, many colors. That's too harsh. Maybe 7%. Ah, that's looking better. So why did I pick blue and green? I just wanted to. You can do whatever colors you want. If you want to make it orange again, that's fine. If you want to have multiple ones, like some green, some blue, some yellow, some orange, yeah, that's all good too. Have some fun with this assignment. It's a lot of work, so you want to try to enjoy it. Liking these gradients I'm starting to get. If you've got the idea of this, go ahead and skip forward to the next video. This is about all that I'm going to be doing for the next 10 minutes. So no worries. If you're having a good time, don't worry about it. Go ahead and watch it. Either way, it's just going to be me working on it. I'm which is why I didn't want to do a very big piece. Once we're done with a section of this, and we may not even take it all the way, once I feel as though you guys are getting the idea on that, I'll probably skip ahead. I'm going to show you a much more complicated one that I've been working on that will give you an idea of exactly where you can go with these types of things. I need bright. There we go. Here we go. Don't be afraid to try different colors. You can always undo. I'm going to save because things are going pretty well. And I'm going to Alt-click to merge these together. I need something a little brighter. Let's come in. I think I'll go for a really bright green. And I'm following along in the lighter areas to brighten that up. That looks a little too much like mold. I'm going to come back in with some blue. You do want to keep your colors under control. You don't want anything insane or disgusting showing up. You're going to want it looking nice. Speaking of nice, I think this is coming along. What happens if we add in a little more yellow? What if we add in some red? Ooh, I like that. I think it's time to revisit the highlights for just a moment. So on the highlights, I'm going to revisit these for just a moment and see what we've got. I think we're going to need to leave it where it is, but I think we're going to turn it down a little bit more. Oh, that looks like mold. We can't turn it down anymore. Not a problem. All right, so we'll revisit that in a little bit. In fact, let's do that for the next video, revisiting the highlights. Let's save. I'll see you in a minute.